Welcome to the studio. We are here with Mark May. How you doing?
Doing great, man. How are you doing today, man?
Always good. Today we're going to talk about how to manage a comic franchise. You got quite a few comics going on, and I looked at all your Kickstarters and everything. You got a ton.
Thanks. It's just, a lot of hard work, a lot of try, a lot of hustle, constantly hustling. 2 years of really just busting it every day, not sleeping, putting all my money, time, and effort into what we're doing with Hellbringers.
So how do you brainstorm new ideas?
The brainstorming new ideas is easy because most of what this story is about for Hellbringers already took place in set one of the card game back in 2018. So I've just been following my storyline pretty much about the set one timeline. We're just switching up the end, and the ending is going to be unbelievable.
If you're coming from the card game, what's the process of writing your actual scripts?
So the process of writing a script for me is always just, I have like 4 of these little notepad books that I keep with me, and what I'll do is I'll put what I think each page should be about, and so it's kind of like the calm before the storm. So I'll map it out, and then I'll try to map out the panels at the same time to give me an idea. But the panel mapping really doesn't start until I sit down and start actually writing the script, because that's when I know how many panels I'm going to need for what I'm trying to convey on the page. That's one of the hardest things I think I can do in comics, because I've written, I think it's 14 comics at this point. Hellbringer Zero was my first comic that we published on paper, but I had a web comic too called Winter Winds, and then also Zombie Tank. Which I was going to do, where the tank is half tank and half zombie, which would have been the dumbest shit ever. And it would have been funny though. So
when you're writing the script, do you actually put it into a set format like you would say a movie script, or do you just start writing everything that's on the page? And because you're an artist too.
Well, the good thing of working with guys like Ron Charles Williams, Rich Bonk, guys like Kleber Susan Lima, these guys were able to convey what I had in my head via me just having conversations with them, and then also what I do write in the script. It's very descriptive. I do know back in the day in Marvel Comics, like Stan Lee would put a little sentence and let you go to town. That's not how I am. I see it. I see it in my head. I know how I would do it if I were going to do it, and I like to tell them how to do it based off how I would do it.
Now, how do you develop such like consistency throughout all these titles? I mean, you got Hellbringers, Jengar and Shred, you got Valak, you got Hellpug, as well as Hellbringers, the card game. There's a very distinct style, and it's very consistent. How are you able to achieve that?
We do whatever we can to bring on the best artists that we could possibly bring, who understand what Hellbringers is and what it's about. We try to convey these characters are in hell. They have been mistreated pretty bad, and that look is in the story. It's in the covers. It's the lighting on almost every cover that you can see. They're in a cave in hell, with the lighting just being like magma and volcanoes and just little things, So the short amount of time that we have put the books together, like I already knew what we would have done if we would have been able to do a 40 comic run for the comic books. I knew what we would have been able to do for the first 10. If we would only been able to do 10, if we would have done 100, I know the direction I would have took with 100. But the truth is Hellbringers is just a team in the story. That is, the Hellbringer saga, but Hellbringers is just a team. Just the same way there's 9 other teams in the game. You know what I mean? So if we were to come back after Hellbringers ends, it might not come back with Hellbringers at all. It might come back with one of the other teams.
You started Silent Mayhem Productions to get your work out there. What was kind of the story behind that?
Silent Mayhem Productions, we were sitting there one night, and it was me and a friend of mine. We were talking, and I was talking about what word has the most impact if you thought about it. And like, we've got, I think, like 70 answers. I remember what about silence? And everybody's like, oh, silence. Mayhem comes from, Mark May. But it was also, almost everything I've done so far has been mayhem. Like, there's been no stress-free, easy going for Mark May. It's not like some of the big-time creators that you see that, got it easy, man. Like, I have to fight every day for what we get. And I enjoy the fight. It just gets tiring sometimes, you know what I mean? Because I'm getting tired. I'm getting old.
Well, how did you come up with your creative team? I mean, you've worked with some really, really amazing people. Ron Williams, you got Becky Fuller, Adina, Russ Cassidy, so many people. You've worked with Chad Harden. How did that come about?
We've worked with so many great people because I've been in this industry for 8 years, touring the nation, and I feel like certain people knew that they could trust me. That when I say I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, I actually do it. I think people know that I'm not gonna them over. Like, they get a good sense about me. They know that I'm in this for the right reasons. We're putting out, a great story, a great comic. We want to continue the tradition of comic books and people reading them. That way runs don't stop at, 12 for Batman because you want a volume number whatever and another one number one issue. Like, we're never going to do that. We want to tell a great story. We're not a cash grab. We've never been a cash grab. You guys know this because you know how much money I lose at every single one of these things we do. The truth is I just wanted to do something bigger in my life than what we had. I just wanted to be bigger than a security guard, destitute, to only be a security guard for the rest of my life, or a bouncer in a club getting my kicked on a nightly basis. I didn't want to do that anymore. I just want to take a chance, and this is that chance. This was Hellbringers. Financially, even if it never made a profit, I would say while we were doing it, even if the last book doesn't make a profit, I want this book to be remembered in the future as, a success based off the story, not based off how much money we made. Because in the end, who gives a how much money we made? It's whether or not the story was great, you're still reading it. It's 60 years later. I'm long gone and dead, but you guys are still reading this stuff. That's all I ever wanted.
When you're actually working with these other artists and creators and stuff, and commissioning them for things like your covers, how are you able to keep that consistent flow?
You got to know that there's several artists that are going to say no to you. So it's kind of like trying to build a wrestling federation out of wrestlers that might be on top, that might be on the way out, that might be on the come up, that might be just starting. You try your best to put this federation of people together that look like they'll work together in a good setting. And that's kind of what it's like bringing cover artists together. Is what kind of team are we going to develop by bringing these guys on, starting a Kickstarter with them? Are they going to share the Kickstarter? Are they not? Do we do a group chat? Do we do individual chats? Different personalities and different egos all the way through. You know how you got to treat one person is not the same as you have to treat another person. Even though you want to treat everybody the same, that's just not how it is sometimes. Some people demand a different kind of attention. So as long as you can adhere to those needs, people feel your passion for your project. You are excited about your project. You love what you do. Other people are going to see that and they're going to flock to you and want to work on your project with you if it's good. I don't like to just sit here and say we have the best project in the world. I think truly that someone somewhere saw our project and they were like, I want to be on this. And a lot of times we'll get guys messaging us to try to get on the project. Sometimes I'll hire them. Sometimes I won't, and I'll listen. But if I can work with those people in the future, they're always in the repertoire, and it's always next man up. Like I said, some people say no. And when they say no, these are the people that you can go to that will say yes. The ones that have already come to you. You just got to make people want to work for you. You can't be out there begging people who you already know are going to say no. Because the truth is you can ruin relationships, being friends, just for having people work for you. Like, they don't look at you as a person anymore, as an artist or somebody you can root for, or a friend that you can have a drink with. They look at you as a boss that potentially can hire you, aka money. You are now money. You are nothing else but that sometimes. And that is a horrible feeling. So having to separate the people that you want to work with and the people that you potentially want to be friends with for the rest of your life, man, it sucks because you want to work with everybody. And if you had the money, you could.
Well, how did that cosplay cover come out with Sapphire Nova?
The first time we had a cosplay cover with Sapphire Nova, it was for Jengar and Shred 2. Sapphire Nova is the first ever Lady Death cosplayer, which I thought was really awesome. Derek Nova, we met met in Nebraska at Grand Island Comic Con, me, Sapphire, and Derek. I really appreciated Sapphire's Vampirella. Like, if you haven't seen her Vampirella cosplay, like, she is spot on. I, of course, wanted to get a picture. She is, like, one of the prettiest girls ever in real life, like, for real. Like, I wanted to get a picture, and we got a picture, and we started all talking. And I was like, man, I could really use you as reference. Like, if I were to, like, you know, take a couple pictures and maybe use it for a cover. And she was like, oh, cool. And I took a couple pictures. I never really got a chance to use the ref, but I knew that if I was ever going to do a cosplay cover, this would be the girl I'd want to work with because she's so easy to sit here and work with. So we got on it. They did the cover shoot on the road from a con, and I remember like they had daytime photos and then they had nighttime photos, and the daytime photos we couldn't use because it doesn't look like hell. You know, we could Photoshop it, but I have no idea how to use Photoshop to save my life. Like it's really, really sad, dude. Like if you ask me to do almost anything on there, like I'm so pathetic of an artist right now. Like I don't even want to be talking about this. We had to use the nighttime photos, and it was actually one that was just right outside their hotel. And it was surprising because that was not the one that Adina would have chose for sure. And you were talking about working with Adina earlier. That's my future wife. So crazy to be working with family on this book too, but she is one of the biggest supporters, and also like she loves Hellbringers so much, and you know, if I die, it's always good to know it's going to be in good hands with her because she knows what to do with the rest of the story. We have it mapped even past volume 1. And as you guys can see behind me here, this is the Hellbringers library. There's a lot of Hellbringers books, Hellbringers different chapters on the wall behind me. A few of the Marvel Blacklight Third Eye posters. That's what I'm running the show now. It's not a CryptoComics show anymore. It is the Silent Mayhem Productions Mark May show, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Because you want to work with everybody, and if you had the money, you could, you know. But
okay.
Dude, you look like you got stuck like on a loop there, but it was like just you rolling your eyes.
What? No, I wasn't.
That's what it looked like. Like, let me show you. I was like, that's how you got stuck.
Oh God, no!
It was so good.
Oh, you're saying the screen froze? Is that?
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Oh boy, that'll go in the blooper reel. Okay.